Hello, YouTube. Long time no see. Okay, so I have been debating for months if and how I want to explain why I left TikTok and YouTube for so long. Vulnerability is not something that I'm an expert at, but I will try. My audience, that's you, is used to seeing me as this happy, bubbly, glamorous content creator, comedian, makeup artist, whatever you want to call me. But there comes a time when the mask has to come off. I recognize that I don't owe anyone an explanation for why I took a break, but this is something that I want to share because I have this massive platform now, and if I can help at least one person who went through what I went through feel not so alone, then it's worth it to me. So let's get back to the beginning. Last year, I blew up on TikTok. I posted a skit that went viral, got millions of views. Fast forward, months passed, my following skyrocketed. I built a YouTube channel as well, and eventually being a content creator became my job. So on the outside looking in, it would appear that my life was wonderful. Ooh, look at her. She's famous. She has all these followers. She doesn't have to work a 9-to-5 job. She must be living the dream. However, there is another side to being a content creator that I didn't quite understand until it happened to me. When you start blowing up on TikTok, YouTube, wherever, you are bombarded with notifications, likes, comments, followers, and it is just like dopamine hit after dopamine hit. There comes a time when you spend so much time reading the comments, checking analytics, planning what's next, that it can become all-consuming, and there are times when it feels like your whole life is in your phone. And if left unchecked, it can lead to this life of extreme isolation and disconnection from the real world, and in my case, an extreme crash out. It started getting really bad in, I would say, January of this year. I'd been living quite an isolated life, which goes against the grain of who I am. I am a very social person. I enjoy human connection. And on top of that, living in New England during the winter can be pretty brutal. It is cold, it is dark, people just want to stay inside and rot. And among some other things going on, it was just a perfect storm. I started feeling so anxious and on edge, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And I was trying to distract myself by going out, making plans, seeing people, but no matter how much I got busy and distracted, it was not going away. I could not run from the fact that I was severely unwell, and I could not figure out what it was that was happening to me. I was trying to find help. I switched therapists again. I was going for walks, meditating. I changed my meds, tried to get more sunlight, but no matter what I did to try and help, I just kept getting worse and worse. Come mid-March, I was so severely unwell that I could not post anymore. So this was when I took a step back from TikTok and YouTube. It got to a point where I was feeling hopeless. I was suffering so much. I had fallen into this deep, dark abyss, and it felt like there was no way of getting out of it. Eventually, I was able to figure out what exactly was going on with me. Turns out I was suffering from severe OCD. And when I say OCD, I don't mean a quirky, cutesy way that I organize my closet or some pet peeve that I have about cleanliness. That might be what you've heard OCD is, but that is very much not what it is. The OCD that I've come to know is a relentless monster that hijacks your life. And if you're someone who's lived with obsessive compulsive disorder, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If left untreated, OCD can lead you to being in constant fight or flight mode, which can become debilitating. There's so much to say about OCD, but to put it simply, imagine your car alarm is going off and you press the button to turn it off, and then it comes back shortly after and it's even louder. You press the button again. The alarm keeps going off and it's louder and louder and louder. And the more you press the button to try to turn it off, the louder it gets. That's what it's like living with OCD. This is a condition that is very misunderstood, even by some mental health professionals. This is also not just a hand-washing disease. There are so many ways that OCD can show up. OCD can and will latch onto anything, your relationships, your morals, your identity. There's harm OCD, contamination, somatic OCD, existential OCD, health OCD. No matter what subtype you have, it is all treated exactly the same. I've known I had OCD since I was a teenager, but I had never received evidence-based treatment for it. I didn't even know what the proper treatment was for OCD and what it wasn't until this past year. There is only one evidence-based treatment that is absolutely essential for treating OCD, and it is called exposure and response prevention, or ERP. So after suffering for months, I began treatment at this top-notch intensive treatment program in Massachusetts designed specifically for people with OCD. I cannot put into words how grateful I am for this program and the phenomenal care that I received there. Now, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. ERP therapy is not sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. It can at times be excruciating. There are times where ERP feels like you are putting yourself through torture. And yet, the only way to get better from OCD is through ERP, which is basically exposing yourself to your triggers, learning to sit with the discomfort of whatever intrusive thought or obsession you're having, and learning that you can handle it without doing a compulsion. And I can say, after doing the hard work for several months, my symptoms have improved significantly, and I am now in recovery. But this does not mean that I am cured. There is no cure for OCD. It cannot be cured, but it can be managed. It is still a struggle, and I am fighting the monster every single day, but I am continuing with my treatment, with my ERP, to ensure that it will never take over my life the way that it did a few months ago, ever again. I am hoping that this video reaches at least one person who is struggling with OCD. And if that's you, I want you to know that you are not alone. No matter how hopeless it seems, no matter how far down the rabbit hole you are, you can get better, but you have to seek the right treatment. If you want to learn about how you can get better, or if you're curious to learn more about OCD, I'm going to leave some really helpful links in the description of this video. This year was a wake-up call for me to prioritize my mental health. And as I move forward with my content, maintaining my recovery is a top priority. And for me, a vital part of that is limiting my usage of social media, both as a consumer and as a creator. OCD is a condition that thrives off of stress, lack of structure, and isolation. And my lifestyle as a content creator led me to all three of those things. I've said repeatedly, whenever I was exploring the idea of going back to creating content, if I ever go back, it's not going to be like it was. I cannot go back to a life of isolation, spending hours a day on my phone, not having a life outside of being a content creator. But guess what? It doesn't have to be that way. My hope is that using a healthy moderation with content creating will allow me to enjoy it again. And another hope that I have is that after watching this video, you are able to see me more as a human. I'm still Lexy, I still love makeup, I still love making people laugh, but no matter how many followers I have, I am just a human being like everyone else. Well, thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I sincerely hope that this video reaches the people who need to hear it right now. Please take care of yourselves, and I will be working toward doing the same. I will see you next time I see you. Goodbye for now.